Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. You can't make things up. And these guys are giving us ammunition as much as we want. They think that we are tards. Really, that's what I think. And for good reason, because they generalize. Remember, about 40% of the population has an IQ of about 86 and below. So, for good reasons, they think that we all have it, or at least we forget. It's true that these guys have an attention span for about 3 minutes, but not you and I. What happened now? We have Zelensky here calling for security guarantees ahead of NATO summit. This is from the Kiev Independent from today, April 15, 2023. So, Zelensky calls for security guarantees. Where did I hear this before? Do you remember, my friends? Where and when did I hear this before? Well, I think the roles right now are turned. The tables are turned. Let me show you where I heard that before. And you will not be surprised. Pum pum pum. This is an ABC News. But hey, can you look at the date here? I can. I will read it for you, because that would be my pleasure. And the date is December 17th, 2021. So that is about what? 2 months before the Russians invaded unprovoked Ukraine. Let's read the title. Russia makes sweeping demands for security guarantees from US amid Ukraine tensions. So the other one is Zelensky calls for security guarantees ahead of NATO summit. So let's go back to the ABC one, right? From December 17, 2021. Hey, Russia made the radical demands amid fears it will launch an attack on Ukraine. So Russia made the demands because it's afraid it will launch an attack on Ukraine. I don't understand this. But anyway, I have another title, another article. There you have it. And this is, my friends, from ABC again, right? ABC and ABC. But the date is January 12th. So it's almost a month after they said this. They didn't make demands. They want to talk to the Americans and NATO. ABC said they sweeping demands for security guarantees. The point is security guarantees. The same as our friend Zelensky's security guarantees. And the article, this one, is from January 12th, 2022. NATO rejects Russians' demands for security guarantees in latest rounds of talks, which they were not talks. Russia and NATO countries are holding talks amid fears of an attack on Ukraine. And they said, you know what? No, you don't deserve any security guarantees. Right? Remember this one? Russia met with 30 NATO member states at the alliance's headquarters in Brussels on Wednesday, the second of 3 diplomatic meetings organized this week in Europe between Russia and Western countries amid fears raised by Russia's massing of 100,000 troops on Ukraine's border. Well, there was Western countries because Russia wanted security guarantees. We are ready to sit down, Stoltenberg told journalists, and we hope Russia is ready to sit down and hold these meetings. But NATO unanimously rebuffed Moscow's core demands for formal guarantees that Ukraine will never join NATO, and that the alliance will pull back its forces from countries in Eastern Europe that joined after the Cold War. Russia and the United States held talks on Monday in Geneva, where Moscow pressed those demands and which the US rejected as impossible. Together, the United States and our NATO allies made clear we will not slam the door shut on NATO open door policy, US Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman said. It's a non-starter. So beat it, attack. What are you going to do? Now, there were no commitments to de-escalate. So, well, the demand was what? Why the Russians made the demands? They call them security guarantees. They were scared. They say, guys, you are too close. We gotta back off. You gotta back off. They say, no, we won't. Okay, we're going to attack Ukraine. Go ahead. That kind of was the conversation. Nothing here. And Zelensky wants now security guarantees of NATO summit. Now, what security guarantees can he ask for? You ask. That he's going to be part of NATO while at war with Russia? That's a no-starter. Remember here? Remember that at the bottom, wherever it was? It's a non-starter right here. Non-starter, that's what it is. It's a non-starter. You can't join NATO or ask for security guarantees from NATO when you're at war with another country. Because that means NATO will have to actively intervene and fight Russia, and Russia will use nuclear weapons, and we're going to see Jesus. I'm going to read this a little bit. President Zelensky said Ukraine needs specific security guarantees even before it becomes a NATO member. Why did these guys start the war? Unprovoked. What was their demands? Exactly NATO. And this guy said, no, we want to go to NATO. Yeah, no. We want it before we join NATO. So NATO members will meet in Lithuania in July to discuss political and practical support for Ukraine. So a new tactical, how they could kneel Russia, basically. Commitments to raise military spending. That means provide them with weapons, and they will use their people to fight our war. Strengthen deterrence policies. Strengthen deterrence policies like what? On the alliance's eastern flank. Okay, well, whatever. Zelensky added that Russia must be fully gone from Ukrainian territory and its violations of international law must not be ignored. That's a non-starter. All right? So, see how the tables are turned a little bit? That's why I'm saying all these things could have been solved before. But you can say, well, remember Adolf, Munich conference, remember? When he met and he said, well, that's it. And then we have Chamberlain, then the Prime Minister of Great Britain, showing up in the little airport over there, right on the, whatever it was, takeoff thing, and he with a paper and says peace in our century or something, in our age or something. Yes, Herr Adolf had other ideas. Why? Because his people, according to him, were in West Czechoslovakia at that time. He wanted a Danzig corridor in Danzig, Donetsk, Gdansk in Poland. And the other one said no, nothing. Okay then. I'll take it. Go ahead. Gonna have a war. And they had a war. But Hitler did not have nuclear weapons. That's the big difference. So these guys have it. So that means that's an equalizer. Whenever the Russians, let's say, are losing, they immediately can access the equalizer, which is nuclear weapons. And everybody is gonna be, okay, now how are we gonna win? You're not gonna win. That's why when I say Russia must lose, Russia cannot lose. It's impossible to lose that way. It's impossible. Unless they are just, saying, okay, you beat us, so we're going to put in our history that Ukraine beat us, and we are a bunch of losers. We're going to pay reparations, about $700 billion, not 440, as the IMF and the other weasel World Bank claim. We're going to pay all that. We're going to pay everything. We're going to hang Putin for you and about maybe 300 other people. And you're going to have inspectors. You're going to grab our balls. You're going to go and get our resources for how much you want. You're going to inspect our nuclear arsenal. Maybe you can control it. You're going to put your little great social policies of equity, diversity, and inclusion over there too. You're gonna have our children do whatever they want because they can, but they can't smoke until they're 21, but they can decide if they're gonna alter their ego. Have to be a weasel, it's too, but you know exactly what I mean. So all these things. Yeah, do you think Russia's gonna do that? I mean, if they do that, they screw themselves worse than the Germans. Another below the belt. Why? Because the Germans screw themselves badly and continue to do it. But hey, that's their choice, no? I don't think so. But anyway, see? Security guarantees. What could be the security guarantees, do you think? They didn't say over there. What do you think would be? That if Russia gets to Kiev, NATO will intervene? Or if Russia kills Zelensky, these guys are gonna attack with nuclear weapons Moscow or something? What are these guys talking about? as they said, that's a non-starter, that's an impossibility. But anyway, let them try. But it's strange, they want security guarantees now. They're going to give you security guarantees now. It's too late for that. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.